Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Habakkuk, chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, write the vision.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby ye are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. One of the things that we have to consider is the great amount of turmoil that Yahshua was going through at this time. When it gets close to the holy days and we start encountering hardships and turmoil, it's almost like every year we're caught off guard, and we should ask ourselves, why are we being caught off guard? Because we know what this is. We are baptized in the name of a man that was tortured for being what he was supposed to be. So how can we be a part of that and not encounter a part of that? And just understanding the title of today's sermon, Sanctified in Separation. A lot of times we want to still be amongst the masses. We want to be the same, but at the same time we want to be different, but not in appearance-wise. So then we want to blend in, but we have to understand that there's power in the separation. Moshe could not stand in the breach with Israel for Israel if he was doing everything that Israel did. You lose the power to stand if you blend. You cannot have both of those things. You can blend with the world, you can merge with them, you can do all of those things, but do understand, when the time comes, when the rubber hit the road, you are not going to have the power to stand in the breach, because the powers that be are not going to let you. The evil angels ain't going to let you stand. They're going to say, no, 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 no. You just like them. You don't get to stand in the breach for some people who you look just like. You don't get to stand in the breach for some people who you act just like. You don't get to stand in the breach for people who, when it was time to go or separate, you went with them. You can't stand in the breach for them and you did everything with them. So we have to make a decision what we're going to be about. And this time is all about those boundaries and separating things. As we go through the part of getting rid of the leaven, they're like these stages where you're going through where, all right, the leaven is not sin at this point. Okay? But you start separating the leaven though. Why? Because you need to consume that before unleavened bread start. So then you start gathering these things together and you stacking all your leaven together. Otherwise, you got to throw this stuff out. And we're not a good, big fan of throwing away stuff we done paid for. And that's good stuff over there. That stuff ain't got no mold on it. That stuff ain't got no nothing. That's good stuff over there. So to even use the stuff adequately, we have to start separating it. All right? So now all of these breads, all of this, we're going to start separating it, and we know where all of it is. It's right here in this pile. So we're going to start eating from this pile as we go further and further down. And as we see that shrinking, because we've already gone in the cabinets and separated it. Okay? We separated it first. We ain't throw it out. By separating it and putting it in that pile, now we get the opportunity to use it for what it's for until the time it's got to get up out of you. All right? So Matthew 25 and verse 31 says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Now, the beginning of our faith begins with Abraham, and he was told in Genesis 12, now Yahweh hath said unto Abram, get you out of your country and from your kindred and from your father's house unto a land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. And in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. Now, all the families of the earth are not blessed if you don't do what he's supposed to do. You don't get to have the power of the covenant without walking in the covenant. The two go hand in hand. And that's something that we have to deal with. So let's begin today's sermon in Genesis chapter 13. Genesis chapter 13. And we're going to start with verses 1 through 9.
And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot went with him into the south.
Now, the very first thing was get out from among your kindred, because there's a way of life that they have developed. And sometimes it is very difficult for us to separate ourselves from ways of life that we've gotten accustomed to. And if you start going through that and start asking questions to your family, you'll find that everybody has a reason why it's okay, why they do what they do. Why it's okay that they keep Easter instead of Passover. Even though that picture on their wall is Passover. Now they have a picture on their wall of Passover, but will give you a carefully constructed thesis of why it's okay to keep Easter. But I don't see Christ with no bunnies I don't see him looking for no eggs. I don't see him with no chocolate. I don't see none of that on your wall. What I see is Passover on your wall. But you're going to tell me from the bottom of your heart why it's okay that you keep Easter, but your walls say Passover. And then I'm the strange one. Oh, I'm strange? Oh, I'm strange. I'm strange because I actually keep what's on my damn wall. I'm strange. You have something on your wall, and you do the exact opposite of what's on your wall. You know, it's funny today, the wall is different. That's what they say when they put something on Facebook. Or they put something on the internet, now put that on your wall. Now that's interesting. See, we got different walls now. See, we don't our walls ain't in our house. Mm-hmm. Our walls somewhere else. Okay. You don't think Yahweh look at that? Go ahead. Now you got the heat on, or what's on in here?
I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Cause
it's blowing hot.
Yeah, that look like the sun. I don't know what that is right there, bro. I know we about to spit hot fire, but I don't think that's it. I don't think. So Genesis
chapter 13 and verse 2. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, onto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai. And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, onto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, onto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of Yahweh. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together. For their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together.
Right. And we don't really know how much of those ways that Lot retain from their upbringing. See, we don't understand. We already have a battle inside of ourselves trying to maintain the culture. But the more family members we have connected to us that observe other things, the more difficult this practice of walking becomes. Go ahead.
And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray you, between me and you, and between my herdmen and your herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself, I pray you, from me. If you will take the left hand, then I'll go to the right. Or if you depart to the right hand, then I'll go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before Yahweh destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of Yahweh, like the land of Egypt, as you cometh unto Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other.
The best part of the land at this point is not really important. What Yahweh wants is a separation between the servant that he's going to deal with and common folk. Lot may have been his family, and he had love for Lot, but Lot common folk. See, the sanctified has to be separated. Yahweh clearly said, come out from among your kindred. He came out from them, but he brought one of them. Now Yahweh has to finish off the separation that he didn't do. And you have to understand, he going to finish off what you don't do. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And Yahweh said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him.
After Lot was separated from him, now Yahweh goes into a different conversation. Go ahead.
Lift up now your eyes, and look from the place where you are northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see, to you will I give it, into your seed forever.
Now, so pause for a second. If Yahweh said after Lot gone, I need you to look east, west, north, and south. I don't give a damn where you go. I don't care if Lot went left and you went left. It's all yours. Hell, what difference do it make? Now, him being the bigger man, he said, look at I go. Because I'll be the bigger man. If you want left, I'll go right. If you want right, I'll go left. Yahweh let him make that decision. Why? Because it's all yours anyhow. Go left, right. Look, go north if you want to. Hell, go in the sky. Build a rocket. Damn it, that's yours too. What? Dig a hole. You want to live underground? Go there too. That's yours too. Okay, go ahead.
And I'll make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall your seed also be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I'll give it unto you. Then Abram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto Yahweh.
All right, now, one of the things you have to think about. Yahweh goes on, gets into another level of this conversation, another level of this covenant after he's separated from Lot. If he has that conversation with Lot, does Lot then say, yeah, this is all that Yahweh has given us? Now, I don't think you understand. Look here. Look here, little Lot. Come here, little Lot. Let me tell you something. This ain't your Lot. Little Lot. Let me tell you something. No, this not ours. See, everything you see, this not ours. East, west, north, south, no, this belong to me and my family. See the people in that house? So what happens if he has this conversation in the presence of Lot? Now, do we have another strife later on? Now, we have a strife just about the regular area of the cattle. Do we have a strife in the kingdom later on? Interesting. All right, let's go to Numbers chapter 8. A lot of the events that Yahweh sends us through are spiritual practice for some greater things. When we're purging our houses, he's getting us accustomed to, okay, let's not get attached to things over and over. Let's go ahead and purge this. All right, don't worry about it. You'll get some more of that next year. Purge this. Because, we start to get the more sentimental the longer we hold something. We'll tell you in a minute, I done had this over here 10 years. This right here is so special. I built a room for it and I shined the light right down on it. And it's like, yeah. And it's slowly becoming your idol. So Yahweh got one of them things. Hey, throw that out. Throw that out right there. Why you want me to throw this out? Because it's not about what it is. It's about what it's becoming in your heart. I need it out of here. Go ahead.
Elder, funny thing is when you do this cleaning, certain stuff that you accumulated after a while becomes burdensome. Because you realize, if I didn't have this, I wouldn't have to clean this. I'm starting to accumulate too much stuff. Because every year I got more and more stuff that I need to clean when it comes to unleavened cleaning.
I find stuff that I got full of the stuff. You mean I bought another one of these when I had one of these, and then I found two more of these? Now I got a place that's just these. Then folk come over, man, why you got some more of these? Why you got so many of these right here? Because I couldn't find one, so I bought one, and then I couldn't find that too, so then I bought two more. And now I got all four. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with these four. But if I had not gone in there and straightened it up, I would have been on fire. Go ahead.
Numbers chapter 8 and verse 5. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Take the Levites from among the children of Israel, and cleanse them. And thus shall you do unto them, to cleanse them. Sprinkle water of purifying upon them, and let them shave all their flesh, and let them wash their clothes, and so make themselves clean. Then let them take a young bullock with his meat offering, even fine flour mingled with oil, And another young bullock shall you take for a sin offering.
Now, there are certain parts that you have to pay attention to. And you shall, verse 7, and you shall do unto them to cleanse them, sprinkle water of purifying upon them, and let them shave all their flesh. Now, this is interesting. They're shaving all of their flesh at this particular time for the anointing part of them being able to do the job. Go ahead.
And you shall bring the Levites before the tabernacle of the congregation, and you shall gather the whole assembly of the children of Israel together. And you shall bring the Levites before Yahweh, and the children of Israel shall put their hands upon the Levites. And Aaron shall offer the Levites before Yahweh for an offering of the children of Israel, that they may execute the service of Yahweh. And the Levites shall lay their hands upon the heads of the bullocks, and you shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering unto Yahweh, to make an atonement for the Levites. And you shall set the Levites before Aaron and before his sons, and offer them for an offering unto Yahweh. Thus shall you separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine.
So the things that belong to Yahweh are separate. He said, separate the Levites. So what was happening with Abraham, Yahweh was separating his servant from common things. Now, we still trying to be cool because this our family. Yahweh like, now your family got to go. See, you mine, you got to be separate. So we're talking about Abraham standing in the stead of a servant of Elohim before he even set up Levites. He's standing in the place of a Levitical priest, even though Levi is going to eventually come from the loins that he brings forth. But he's standing in something that Yahweh has not fully explained yet. So there may be parts that you're going through that you're not quite understanding. Well, why did I have to go through this? Your child might have to explain it to you, because it hadn't gotten far enough for you to be told that yet. So he has these moments of separation only to figure out in the law, the Levites must be separated from the common people of Israel because they have a job. Okay? Go to the next graphic for me, bro.
You know, Elder, quick question for you. We see here as the Levites are being separated, the children of Israel all had to place their hands on the heads of the Levites. When we got the two scapegoats, and we see the same situation happens.
And I don't want you to miss that part about they all shaving, because we're about to get into how Yahweh ends up dealing with some things here. Okay? In the next graphic, it is written to abstain from all appearance of evil. There are certain appearances of evil that are not apparent at first glance. So when we examine Yahweh's law, we get confused sometimes as to why some of those laws were added by him. So let's go to Leviticus chapter 21. Now, one thing you have to consider, all right, so Yahweh ended up saying, have them shave all their flesh, right? All right. When a man gets a woman from a campaign of war, he shaves her hair. That hair before was the glory of her previous husband. All the hair that grows now is the glory of the current husband. Yahweh said, let them shave all their flesh and then lay their hands on them. All the glory of the hair on those priests now belong to Yahweh. There's certain things that we just don't understand. We think he's just doing some stuff. Okay. All right. Let's go Leviticus chapter 21, and we're going to read verses 1 through 5.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe.
He did say, I'm married unto you, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure Go ahead.
Speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people, but for his kin, that is near unto him, that is, for his mother and for his father, and for his son and for his daughter and for his brother.
Now, being separated means that you're being excluded from some other things. So we want the power of the separation, but we don't always want to be separated. See, we want to be involved in everything, but still want the power that separation brings. We actually get mad when we're not invited to the shindig. When the people are about to do some debauchery, we get upset. Why, I didn't get no invitation of debauchery. They invited you. And we get upset. So you want the power of the separation or not? Go ahead.
And for his sister, a virgin that is near unto him, which has had no husband, for her may he be defiled.
Wait a minute. So that means a brother all in his sister business now. It says for his sister if she be a virgin. Wait a minute. He in the business. Hey, hold on. What Jimmy hang around here too damn much. You need to tell Jimmy go home. Hey Jimmy. Hey, nice. Hey. There's some nice J's, but you and your J's, Jay, up out of here. Get on out of here now. No. He in her business. Okay, go ahead.
But he shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, to profane himself. They shall not make baldness upon their head.
Wait a minute. They shall not make baldness upon their head. He had them shave their head before they got anointed. But he said, oh no, but see now you mine. That's my glory now. Wait a minute. You can't cut my glory. See, it used to be a thing. You go back in the days and all women had long natural hair. The men would go crazy. A woman come home and cut her hair. He was like, have you lost your mind, woman? This would be a way. Go back and have a conversation with your granddaddy. You're going to find it was a different life. He didn't care if that hair was pulled back in a ponytail. He didn't request that she go to the salon. He just wanted to see her. Now we get some understanding of that. Wait a minute, that was his glory. You find some women had done cut their glory off, didn't even call their husband. They just showed up at the house. So baby, what you think? I'm moving. That was a big thing to them men. But see, those men had a different culture than what we have now. So today they can cut it off on Tuesday and still have another full head Wednesday. And don't get it twisted, brother. Shoot, I seen Brother Baldhead. 2 weeks later, that brother got dreads. Like, where the hell he get yours from? I seen a brother paint a haircut so fine. I said, damn, is this a barber shop or a paint booth? I mean, they painted it on now, had the razor sharp edges. I said, damn, that brother looks nice. I hope it don't rain. Because, I mean, he was cut, Jack. Okay, right. Go ahead.
Neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh.
He said, that's my glory. I'm married unto you. You know, you started over. That glory belongs to me. You don't get to just cut that. So he has some things going on that he hasn't fully explained to us. This is why you got to be careful about leaning to your own understanding. You know what he has allowed for you to know. Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it?
Yep.
All right. So, dealing with that, we have to consider a few more things before we get out of that. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 16. Matter of fact, why don't you read the note? Because I think I just want that one line out of Deuteronomy 16 and 21.
You shall not plant you a grove of any trees near unto the altar of Yahweh your Elohim.
All right. So, we got a law against baldness. You have You shall not plant you a grove of trees near unto the altar of Yahweh your Elohim, which you shall make. All right. Now let's go to Genesis chapter 21, because here's that part about affiliation. So, start that at verse 22.
And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, Elohim is with you in all that you does.
Now, other people are able to witness that, hey, Elohim is with you. We think it means that Elohim is with us when we don't go through anything. Other people notice that Elohim is with you is when you go through something and keep coming out. See, one thing that you're witnessing, they're witnessing something else. You're thinking that if Elohim was with me, I wouldn't go through anything. You're wrong. That does not show that Elohim is with you. Go ahead.
Now therefore swear unto me here by Elohim, that you will not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's sons. But according to the kindness that I have done unto you, you shall do unto me, and to the land wherein you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I'll swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I knew not who has done this thing, neither did you tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves.
All right, so Abraham has set these 7 ewe lambs by themselves. Go ahead.
And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves?
So he noticed that these have been sanctified. These have been separated. Why are these separated? Go ahead.
And he said, for these 7 ewe lambs shall you take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well.
These things have been separated as a sign of the covenant between you and I. I have brought this out from amongst my stuff for the purpose of this agreement. Okay, go ahead.
Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they swear both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Phicol the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba.
I'm sorry, Abraham did what?
Planted a grove.
Okay, keep reading.
And called there on the name of Yahweh, the everlasting El.
Wait a minute. Now, when Yahweh turned around and he tell you to get out from among your kindred, you have to understand that they have certain ways. And we are picking up those ways whether we know it or not. We just read in the law, but the law hadn't been given yet. Don't plant any grove near an altar of Yahweh. What did Abraham do? Plant a grove and then call on the name of Yahweh. Where he get that from? His folks. But clearly, Yahweh desires some separation when it comes down to this. Let's go. It says, Yahweh called his chief prophet Moshe out of Egypt and sent him back into Egypt to retrieve his people Israel. Israel clearly had problems separating from the culture of Egypt, as they made images of Egyptian gods in the wilderness. It becomes clear that some of the laws given were to separate Yahweh from the idols of man. Yahweh commanded that his priests not make baldness upon their heads. Upon study, we find that Egyptian priests shaved their heads. Yahweh our Elohim, who created heaven, earth, and all that in them is, stated, you shall not plant a grove of any trees near his altar. Upon study, we find that the inhabitants of the earth use trees in their worship practices. Imagine the honor of a king so great that he would separate himself from something he made just to keep from giving off the wrong impression. Let's go to Joshua chapter 24. See, them trees he made. But he said, don't make nothing close to my altar. Because, see, I know what they do. So I don't want to be affiliated with what they do. Oh, and don't shave your head and shave your hair. Why? Because, see, that's what they do. I don't want the people who operate with me to be confused with the people who operate with them. See, you know, it used to be real easy to tell a Christian from a Hebrew because a Christian didn't have no hair. What? The Christian is the smoothest faced dude in the room. Only now are you start to seeing Christians with facial hair. Yahweh clearly wanted his servants. No. I want my servants. I made a man to look like a man. He wanted the man to look like a man. He said, no, I know what their servants look like. They shave everything. They shave their head. They shave their face. Okay. So then that look is associated with those gods. He didn't want you to look like that. But see, what we do is take blended in things and think that Yahweh is okay with it. He was not okay with the appearance. He was not okay with the image. When he see, man, you look like you worship one of them other gods, bro. Why the hell your face that smooth? I mean, do you not grow hair? Is something wrong with it? You're a grown man. And our bodies revolt against us when we try to shave constantly. So we have to train our face to do wrong. See, that's what, a lot of us go to places, but we ain't never really been to no real barber shop. You go to a real barber shop, they get that hot towel and they put it over your face and they just sit you there and he go work on something else. See, that's getting that doggone them stubborn hairs. Now they getting it ready for that razor. Because your face don't like the razor. Because Yahweh told your face, look, don't like that razor. Yahweh told your face. Your face no more than you. Your face, look, Yahweh said don't cut this off. But you about to cut this off, ain't you? So then now you got to trick it. Now you got to soften it up. Because it's fighting against you. It's going to curl up and go right back into your skin, and you're going to be scratching like a dog. You're going to have your foot all the way up to your face, scratching. That's your skin revolting against you. He said, look, now, they worship that other God. This is how they look. They shave everything. But you ain't supposed to do that. You ever wonder why that doesn't happen to anybody else on the planet? Africans don't have that problem, and Gentiles don't have that problem. They can shave every day for 50 years and never get a hair bump. Why does that only happen to you? Because you're the only one that was told, don't shave off your stuff. Go ahead.
Joshua chapter 24 and verse 1. And Joshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, and called for the elders of Israel, and for their heads, and for their judges, and for their officers, and they presented themselves before Elohim. And Joshua said unto all the people, Thus says Yahweh Elohim of Israel, Your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time, even Terah, the father of Abraham, and the father of Nahor, and they served other gods.
They served other gods. So where do you think Abram get planting that grove? Now you understand why Yahweh said, separate yourself from among your kindred. See, there are little instances of other worship practices that you do and you ain't thought about it. Who would have thought that planting a tree was the worship of other gods? Yahweh clearly had a problem with it. Don't plant no grove of any trees near my altar. First thing Abram do. Plant a tree. There are certain things that we just think that they're, I picked this up. My grandmama used to do this. So we put it on Big Mama now. So now we have rituals in the family that we blame it on Big Mama, and she got it from the folk who were worshiping another god, but she didn't know it. So now it's unknowingly being passed down. Yahweh said, I know how to cure that. Leave. Go to where I'm telling you to go, and I'm going to help you start new cultures. Instead of repeating these other ones, instead of trying to explain to you where every last one of these come from, how about you just move? So in the beginning of Abram's walk, he dealing with Yahweh, but he also dealing with the gods of his father. Okay, go ahead.
And I took your father Abraham from the other side of the flood, and led him throughout all the land of Canaan, and multiplied his seed, and gave him Esau. And I gave unto Esau Jacob and Esau. And I gave unto Esau Mount Seir to possess it, but Jacob and his children went down into Egypt. I sent Moshe also in Iran, and I plagued Egypt, according to that which I did among them. And afterward I brought you out. And I brought your fathers out of Egypt, and you came onto the sea. And the Egyptians pursued after your fathers with chariots and horsemen onto the Red Sea. And when they cried unto Yahweh, he put darkness between you and the Egyptians, and brought the sea upon them, and covered them. And your eyes have seen what I have done in Egypt, and you dwelt in the wilderness a long season. And I brought you into the land of the Amorites, which dwell on the other side Jordan, and they fought with you, and I gave them into your hand, and that you might possess their land. And I destroyed them from before you. Then Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, arose and warred against Israel, and I sent and called Balaam the son of Beor to curse you. But I would not hearken unto Balaam, therefore he blessed you still, so I delivered you out of his hand. And you went over Jordan, and came on to Jericho, and the men of Jericho fought against you, the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Girgashites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I delivered them into your hand. And I sent the hornet before you, which drave them out from before you, even the 2 kings of the Amorites, but not with your sword, nor with your bow. And I have given you a land for which you did not labor.
I have given you a land for which you did not labor. We don't understand. Yahweh has us in a land where we did all the labor. But he gonna give you something that you did not labor. But if you try your best to accomplish everything in the land where you labor, and you can't figure out why are you not getting everything for the toil of your hands. You're confused, and you say, I should have way more than this. From what I get paid, I should have this, I should have that. Okay, go ahead.
And cities which you built not, and you dwell in them. Of the vineyards and olive yards which you planted not do you eat. Now therefore, fear Yahweh, and serve him in sincerity and in truth. And put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood, and in Egypt, and serve you Yahweh. And if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day whom you will serve.
Choose you this day whom you will serve. All right, go ahead and make the decision. But you can't have one foot on Yahweh's side and another foot on the other side in the world saying, I'm going to serve everything so that it goes well with me in the earth. No, you're going to have to make a decision. As the old folks say, either dump or get off the pot. What you going to do? Hey, man, you holding up the bathroom. What you going to do? Go ahead.
Whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh.
As for me and my house, at some point you're going to have to make a decision. What does that mean to you? Go ahead.
And the people answered and said, Elohim forbid that we should forsake Yahweh, to serve other gods.
Right. Do understand that people are not going to come up to you and ask you to worship another god. People are going to come up to you and invite you to a shindig. People are going to present some things to you that may seem educated, but it leans toward a different worship practice. See, I thought my elder was being harsh, and he said, if your God named God, you worship the devil. I said, elder, elder, that's just harsh. Then I started doing a little research. I said, well, wait a minute now. Your God don't have no name. You worship the devil. You mean there's no pinpoint way of calling on your God just by, you just say God? So if it's a dog, you just say dog. So your dog ain't got no name? Your dog named dog? Your cat named cat? Is your woman named woman? Is your man named man? Is your kid named kid? What happens when you have more than one kid? Is that kid too? If your God named God, you worship the devil. Go ahead.
For Yahweh our Elohim, He it is that brought us up and our fathers out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, and which did those great signs in our sight, and preserved us in all the way wherein we went, and among all the people through whom we passed. And Yahweh drave out from before us all the people, even the Amorites, which dwelt in the land. Therefore will we also serve Yahweh, for He is our Elohim. And Yahshua said unto the people, you cannot serve Yahweh, for He is an holy El. He's a jealous El. He will not forgive your transgressions nor your sins.
Wait a minute. He's a jealous Elohim. So when we start calling on other names, wait a minute. We didn't activate His jealousy. Now, I mentioned in Bible study some of the things in how we understand how to serve our Elohim. Look at the separation between man and woman and what He gave a woman. Now, I don't care how many people you know. Go home and say the wrong name. Let's see how this work out for you. Go ahead. You bad. You the king of your castle. You bad. Come on, Captain Bad. Go home. Say the wrong name. Now, why do you think he put that in her? You call him what? You call him what? Okay. All right. You gonna find out today. You gonna find out today. Go ahead, brother. We finish that.
Verse 20. If you forsake Yahweh and serve strange gods, then He will turn and do you hurt and consume you after that He has done you good. And the people said unto Yahshua, no, but we will serve Yahweh. And Yahshua said unto the people, you are witnesses against yourselves, that you have chosen you, Yahweh, to serve Him. And they said, we are witnesses. Now therefore, put away, said He, the strange gods which are among you, and incline your heart unto Yahweh Elohim of Israel.
Now, it says we're not even supposed to mention the name of other gods out of our mouth. Now, if the heathen has created other names and associated them with other practices, what exactly are we doing? Okay. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12.
Skip Genesis.
Yeah. Yeah, jump to Exodus 12 and 1 through 6.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak you unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
Now, first of all, this month shall be unto you the beginning of the months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. We have to be separated amongst the world just to be able to deal with this rightfully. Because by the time we get to Passover, they've been declared the first of their year. They done had their parties. They done had a worship practice for their two-headed god Janus. They have done the Janus rituals. They done had watch night service. They have done all of these things. And here, Yahweh's people go saying, hey, y'all, it's New Year. But if we don't want to be separated, see, what we'll do is what you see happening today. We're going to keep Hebrew New Year, but we're going to keep pagan New Year too. See, we think if we worship all the gods, we good. What? You gonna see some? They was out New Year's Eve. They was partying. They was counting down. They was watching the ball drop. Y'all always say, I'm gonna drop that ball right on your head. Okay. They kept both of them. Go ahead.
You know, that's the sad thing, is that we don't actually see there's many gods, or we try to tend to ignore it. But the Gentiles know these things, and when you talk to one of them and you hear him admit it, it's scary. I talked to a guy this week, and he's telling me all the stuff he's going through, and he said, yeah, and I made it through, and I thanked all the gods. And I'm standing there looking at him like, did he just really say, I thanked all the gods?
Yes. They know exactly what they're doing. We are the people who will fight you the most for things that we do not understand. And what's crazy about it? It is the most educated of our people who don't understand. And it's not because they don't understand because they're unintelligent. They don't understand because they have made a decision that they don't want to go any further in the understanding of something that they have latched onto. It is not about intelligence. Because these people are articulate, they have college degrees, they have all of that. But they have decided in their heart and their mind, I am latched onto this, and there's nothing that you're going to say that is going to dislodge this from my heart. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let a man his neighbor next door to his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. And you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
So the first thing is that you took it on the 10th day. It is now being separated for this holy purpose. The thing that's going to be done for a holy purpose does not stand among the common things. We're so busy sometimes dealing with the Passover on the 14th day. Wait a minute. It had already been sanctified leading up to that. Our problem is we don't want to be separated because we're going to lose something when we're separated from the world. We still want to get all the accolades from the world, but we still want to be called sanctified unto Yahweh. The both of those ain't going to agree. For this thing to be ready for Passover, it didn't start being sanctified on Passover. Okay. All right. So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 26. Deuteronomy 26, and I want you to start with verses 1 through 3.
And it shall be, when you are come unto the land which Yahweh your Elohim gives you for an inheritance, and possess it, and dwell therein, that you shall take of the first of all the fruit of the earth, which you shall bring of your land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you, and shall put it in a basket, and shall go on to the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose to put his name there. And you shall go unto the priest that shall be in those days, and say unto him, I profess this day unto Yahweh your Elohim, that I am come unto the country which Yahweh sware unto our fathers for to give us.
All right, now jump to verse 13.
Then you shall say before Yahweh your Elohim, I have brought away the hallowed things out of mine house.
These hallowed things have been set apart for a special use. All right, go ahead.
And also have given them unto the Levite, and unto the stranger, to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all your commandments which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commandments, neither have I forgotten them. I have not eaten thereof in my mourning.
So when things got bad for me, I didn't forget that these things were set aside, that they were sanctified for a special purpose. Go ahead.
Neither have I taken away aught thereof for any unclean use.
Neither have I taken away aught thereof for any unclean use. When I set this aside for you, it stayed yours. Now remember now, he's a very jealous Elohim. Now if you call him God, and then you call on another name of a God, wait a minute now, we done activated some jealousy. Wait a minute now, which one of us is Elohim then? Okay, go ahead.
Nor given aught thereof for the dead. But I have hearkened to the voice of Yahweh my Elohim, and have done according to all that you have commanded me.
All right. Brother, I want you to read what it says about sanctify right there.
Sanctified. The word Kadesh is to consecrate, separate, and set apart a person or thing from all common or secular purposes to some religious use.
So that we understand that this is not my idea of what sanctify means. This is what the definition of the word is. If you sanctifying something, you make it separate. How is something separate if we then merge in all the other parts of everything else with it? So then we have to notice the little slick parts of when the people who worship on Sunday, they said every day is holy. What do you think they just did? They merged every day in with the Sabbath. That means the Sabbath is not any more important than the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day. So they didn't actually have to defile the Sabbath by defiling the Sabbath. They defiled the Sabbath by making every other day equal to it. Don't matter what they do on the Sabbath now, because they already made the other days equal to it, so now they have defiled it. It is no longer set apart. Okay. All right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 23. Matter of fact, brother, you go to that. I want you to read that for me.
Keep
Exodus.
you far from a false matter,
Uh-huh.
and the innocent and righteous slay you not, for I will not justify the wicked.
Now, there's two things here. Keep you far from a false matter. That's one thing. Okay? The other part that's very heavy, I will not justify the wicked. Okay, two things there. Keeping far from the false matter is one thing. The other part, he will not justify the wicked. Now let's go to Joshua chapter 7, because we have to understand the righteous can turn wicked in a matter of mere seconds. And if the righteous then make this decision, now they're amongst the wicked. If they don't make a separation, he can't bless them even though they haven't done anything wrong. We have to understand what justifying the wicked means. Okay, so Joshua chapter 7, I want to read verses 1 through 12.
But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdiah, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Yehudah, took of the accursed thing, And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against the children of Israel.
All right, now I need you to notice something. Verse 1, it says the children of Israel committed a trespass. Okay, the children of Israel collectively is what he said. All right, the problem is one man did this. Okay, I need you to pay attention again. Okay, Yahweh says the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. Yet we keep reading it. It said for Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Yehuda took up the accursed thing. So we talking about one man took an accursed thing. Yahweh said the children of Israel. Okay, what's happening here? He says, I will not justify the wicked. Wait a minute. So now all Israel is about to deal with what this one man did. Go ahead.
You know, it seems like a strange concept, but if you ever been a part of any type of sports team or even the folks in the military, one man mess up, everybody gets punished.
You got it.
So why is the concept so strange? We understand it from those carnal point of view, don't we?
Well, but we have this day a personal Lord and Savior. Because he's just mine. So I don't understand why you're dealing with them anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
And Yahshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Beth-aven, on the east side of Bethel, and spake unto them, saying, Go up and view the country. And the men went up and viewed Ai. And they returned to Yahshua and said unto him, Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai, and make not all the people to labor thither, for they are but few.
Now, we are now about to see a totally disconnected situation get influenced by a whole nother thing. This accursed thing that they have taken unto them, that one man has taken unto him, has now defiled the unit as a whole. Now they're about to do something that they've been doing and they've been winning. But now they have merged something. See, they didn't understand the power of a jealous Elohim. So they done merged something, and now they're about to pay the price for it. Go ahead.
So there went up thither of the people about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. The men of Ai smote of them about 36 men, for they chased them from before the gate even on to Shebarim, and smote them in the going down. Wherefore the hearts of the people melted, and became as water.
Now the hearts of the people have melted. They have lost their power. What has happened? Yahweh has took his anointing off of them. Their anointing is gone, just like that. Here's the problem. Do we even know if Achan went? Wait a minute. So Achan brought the accursed thing, brought it among the children of Israel. Now the children of Israel have lost their anointing as a whole. Achan didn't die. Okay. Go ahead.
And Yahshua rent his clothes, and fell to the earth upon his face before the ark of Yahweh until the eventide.
Until eventide. Hey, let me tell you something. He praying for a long time. Okay, go ahead.
He and the elders of Israel, and put dust upon their heads. And Yahshua said, Alas, O Adonai, wherefore have you at all brought this people over Jordan, to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites?
So this is what happened. After a while, we start questioning the whole journey. See, this is us. All right. Once we suffer the right setback, now we questioning the whole journey. We do it all the time. Let us have a bad spot in our relationship.
Why you even give me Keisha?
You've been with Keisha 25 years. Now y'all had a bad day today.
I can't believe you even gave me Keisha. She was the wrong one.
Right. Go ahead.
To destroy us. Would to Elohim we had been content and dwelt on the other side Jordan.
With Elohim we had been content. Now, because their heart melted, they're questioning the whole process. All of this is happening because something has merged in. Okay? And the area of the problem is not the area of the transgression. Go ahead.
O Adnai, what shall I say when Israel turns their backs before their enemies? For the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land shall hear of it, and shall have environed us round, and cut off our name from the earth. And what will you do unto your great name? And Yahweh said unto Joshua, Get you up. Wherefore lieth you upon your face?
But you have to understand how Yahweh do something. He let you pray all day, and then tell you, get up. What you laying on your face for? See, there's certain situations where you out praying, and Yahweh wants you to be out doing. Oh, Father, oh, how art thine thitherest? Can thou come down, Father, and do these things for thine servant, Father?
Yes, sir.
And he like, boy, go over there and get them damn unclean people and get them the hell out of here. Stop talking to me. What you talking to me for? Don't you know where they at? Go get them. Get up off your face. Go ahead.
Israel has sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant which I commanded them. For they have even taken of the accursed thing, and have also stolen and disassembled also. And they have put it even among their own stuff.
They done broke it down and merged it, so you can't even understand it from the original point, because they done broke it down now, and they done mingled it in there. You can't even recognize the theft. All right, keep going.
You know, it's like you said earlier. This is one man, but he keeps saying they.
Right. Well, he says, I will not justify the wicked, right? Okay, keep reading.
Therefore, the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies.
Wait a minute, the children of Israel, not Achan. Now, Yahweh know right off the rip who did it. But Yahweh is saying the congregation as a whole will not prosper because Achan is there. Yahweh know who did it. What you on your face praying for? Praying ain't gonna get care of this. What you gonna have to do is go cause a separation. You gonna have to create a boundary. There's gonna be some separation. You gonna have to go get that accursed thing. But you ain't gotta take my word for it. Keep reading.
But turned their backs before their enemies, because they were accursed.
They were accursed because they accepted a cursed, mingled thing. Go ahead.
Neither will I be with you anymore, except you destroy the accursed from among you.
Now, if you don't remove it, if you don't separate it, I will not be with you. Wait a minute. Now go back to the statement. I will not justify the wicked. If the accursed stays among you and he still blesses you, he has then also blessed the wicked. Now he can't bless you because of the wickedness that you have allowed to commune with you. Because by blessing you, he blesses it. So now, you at a standstill with your Elohim. And you can't figure out why you in a stagnant place. You can't figure out, I keep pressing on the gas, but all that happens, the motor get louder. You're going to have to make a decision. Because he's not going to bless you with that with you. Because if he does, then he justifies the wicked. You're going to have to make sure that there's a clear-cut separation. Or else he's got to stall in dealing with you. And it ain't got nothing to do with you. Okay. I want you to read Romans chapter 1 and verse 32.
Who, knowing the judgment of Elohim, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do they do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
In other words, they're our friends. We have now connected with these individuals, so now we don't want to unmerge. We want to use the wording that they use. We want to wear the clothing that they wear. We want to hang at the places where they hang. So we not only do the things, but we have pleasure in the people. It says we're supposed to abhor that which is not right. Abhor is hate. How you hate it if you hang out with it? Okay. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 8. See, removing this leaven out of your cabinets is more about removing leaven out of your heart. And we still ain't getting that. We done been through this year after year after year. We still ain't figured out that it ain't about the cabinet. 20 years in, we still out talking about enzymes. We still ain't figured it out. We all deep in the ingredients. We in the ingredients. Okay? We calling the people who call the people. We still ain't figured out. He talking about what's in here. Go ahead, Bree.
Hey, we'll be more heartbroken and upset when Passover, when unleavened bread is over, we found something that was leavened still in the house, more than what's in our heart.
You got that right. You got that right. We'll be upset. Who left this cookie in here? There's a cookie in here. Right. Right. Good.
1 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 1. Now, as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffs up, but love edifies.
Uh-huh.
And if any man think that he knows anything, he knows nothing, yet as he ought to know. But if any man love Elohim, the same is known of him. As concerning therefore the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other Elohim but one.
So the idol, once we get to a certain level of understanding, we know it don't exist. This is something that was fabricated. But then there's still staying away from the appearance of all evil. Okay, go ahead.
For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or on earth, as there be gods many, and masters many, or lords many. But to us, there's but one Elohim,
okay,
the Father, of whom all things are, and we in him, and one Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. Howbeit, there's not in every man that knowledge.
Okay, there's not in every man that knowledge. So in some of the things that we may be presenting or allowing, we are now putting a stumbling block before the blind. See, when we read, don't you put a stumbling block before the blind, we think they always talking about a physically blind brother. We already know that's wicked. You got a man with a walking stick and you put a burden in front of him, you needed him to tell you that was wicked. You actually needed to know. Read that. To tell that was wicked? Don't you think he's talking about something deeper than that? You got somebody who don't have the spiritual eyes to see, but then you put something in front of them that causes them to stumble. You don't understand that you put a burden before the blind? Read, Bree.
For some with the conscience of the idol unto this hour eat it as a thing offered unto an idol, and their conscience being weak is defiled. But meat commends us not to Elohim. For neither if we eat are we the better, neither if we eat not are we the worse. But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak. For if any man see you, which has knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols?
Uh-huh.
And through your knowledge shall the weak brother perish, for whom the Mashiach died.
Right. So if you say, you worship Yahweh, but you show up with some Hercules high tops, won't the other brothers be emboldened to say, I'm going to get me some of them damn Hercules high tops? Priest Isaac had them on. Shoot. This is all I'm getting me them Hercules high tops. Matter of fact, they got the mids too. Won't they be emboldened to do that if they see me do that? Okay. Go ahead.
But when you sin so against the brethren and wound their weak conscience, you sin against Yahshua.
Wait a minute. I need you to read that again.
But when you sin so against the brethren and wound their weak conscience, you sin against Yahshua.
Are we counting that as a sin against Yahshua? Or you think you just did something to that brother who didn't really mean that much to you? How you counting that? Okay. All right. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 12. See, there's a way that we can add that we always come up on top. But you got to add according to the one who's officially doing the counting. You can count that however you want to count that. But you need to be concerned with how he going to count that. That's what you need to be concerned about. Zechariah chapter 12, and I want you to read verses 7 and 8.
Yahweh also shall save the tents of Yehudah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Yehudah.
So then, even in salvation, there's separation. So all Israel are not being saved at the same time. They're not being acknowledged at the same time. Because some have greater power than others. If the greater power ones are delivered first, it will end up trampling over the other ones. So while everybody get acknowledged and you're not being acknowledged, are you being discouraged? He said he got to help the lesser ones first. Why? Because the power of this last group is going to overshadow everybody else. Keep reading.
In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. And the house of David shall be as Elohim.
Stop. Come on, man. He can't say them first. Come on, man. House of David walking around like God. If he saved them first, everybody else in trouble. The power of David on this earth was already something to marvel at. So he said, no, I got to save the other ones first. Because their power is different. But do you sit back and get discouraged as you see other people go, look at them, they got such and such. Why I don't have such and such? They have this. Why I don't have this? Go ahead.
As the angel of Yahweh before them.
Right. So the house of David shall be as Elohim. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 44. See, it's not just some things that are happening. It's levels in this. And sometimes separation has to happen to maintain the levels. Because if you have somebody on a level that they are not supposed to be at, they may end up getting themselves killed. they step down a level they can live. We see it all the time. The 130-pound dude is the king of his weight class. He step up to 135 and get demolished. It wasn't but 5 pounds different. He stepped up in a different weight class. He wasn't the king of that weight class. See, sometimes you got to rule your weight class. See? And you got to realize when you're not in yours. And you realize it when you hit that 140 pounder with everything you got. And he said, okay, this not gonna go well. Your strength don't work on this level. Your strength worked on that level over there. See, you got to understand when you're dealing with Yahweh, there's levels in this. And if you get caught on the wrong level, you're gonna have yourself some issues. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 44, we're starting verse 15.
Yeah, 15 and 16.
But the priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me.
Wait a minute. These people have already paid a debt because of work that they have done previously. But the priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok, that kept the charge of my sanctuary when the children of Israel went astray from me. Go ahead.
They shall come near to me to minister unto me.
Everybody ain't coming near. They might be able to minister over there. They might be able to minister over there. But they're not coming near to his table. See, that part have to be earned. And you can't put everybody in that circle. Some people still got to worship over there. Some people still got to minister over there. Everybody can't minister close to the table. If they get close to that table and they the people who's supposed to be over there, they're going to die at that table. Go ahead.
And they shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat and the blood, says the Adonai Yah. They shall enter into my sanctuary. And they shall come near to my table. To minister unto me. And they shall keep my charge.
He ain't talking about everybody. He's talking about that group who went through all the turmoil and stood steadfast no matter what. They didn't allow anything to be merged in. They didn't take no bribes. Wasn't nothing able to convince them. No filthy lucre, no acceptance of any people, none of that. They get to come close to the table. You ain't just walking up to the table. If you walk up to the table and you didn't earn that, they're going to carry you away from the table. It's going to be your last time going close to the table. You get once. Everybody get once. Okay. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 19. Uzzah touched that table. The oxen shook, and he thought he was doing a good deed. He was going to keep it from falling over, and he put his hand on it. He didn't put his hand on nothing else. And he didn't mean to do anything wrong. He didn't have anything wrong in his heart. He had absolutely nothing. He actually had a good deed in his heart. He thought he was doing well. But he didn't qualify to be that close to the table. Had he been a qualified individual, he would have known not to touch it. He was too close to something that he should not have been close to. The boundaries were not set properly. See, when boundaries are not set properly, somebody will do something that they don't need to do. But if the boundaries were there, they would have never got close enough to it to make the mistake. Okay. 1 Kings 19 and I want you to start at verse 8.
Verse 8.
Yes.
And he arose and did eat and drink, and went in the strength of that meat 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mount of Elohim. And he came thither unto a cave, and lodged there. And, behold, the word of Yahweh came to him. And he said unto him, What does you here, Eliah? And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahweh Elohim of hosts. For the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left. And they seek my life to take it away.
They seek my life to take it away. Just being a true servant of Yahweh is dangerous. Go ahead.
And he said, Go forth and stand upon the mount before Yahweh. And behold, Yahweh passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains and brake in pieces the rocks before Yahweh. But Yahweh was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But Yahweh was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But Yahweh was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And it was so, when Eliah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out, and stood in the entering in of the cave. And, behold, there came a voice unto him and said, What does you here, Eliah? And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahweh Elohim of hosts, because the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And Yahweh said unto him, Go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus. And when you cometh, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Jehu the son of Nimshi shall you anoint to be king over Israel. And Elisha the son of Shaphat of Abel Meholah shall you anoint to be prophets in your room. And it shall come to pass that him that escaped the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escaped from the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which has not kissed him.
Yet have I left me 7,000 in Israel. Yahweh is carving out a remnant who will not allow any merging whatsoever. He don't see them, because he said, I'm left alone. And when they make their little statues, they go and kiss the feet of their statues. So they don't understand that this little ritual has then locked them into that idol. He says, look, I got 7,000 that absolutely refuse to deal with that. As it is written still to this day, there is a remnant. That remnant has to be separated and set apart. As it goes down, it says the priests weep between the porch and the altar. The common man weeping between the porch and the altar don't carry no weight. He ain't been separated. He can cry all day. Yahweh don't hear that. See, Moshe can't stand in the breach if he went down there and joined the party. If he went down there, he said, all right, look, I'm going to do, all right, look, y'all wrong with this calf. But somebody give me a fan, I'm going to do the boots on the ground. And then after that, then we're gonna break this thing up. Oh, no. Once he did the one dance, you out of here. You have no more power to stand in the breach. We have to understand that. Let's go to John chapter 10. Yohanan chapter 10. And we're going to read verses 1 through 16.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that enters in not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber.
Now, this is Yeshua saying, how did you enter in? Was it deceitfully? Was it with cunning craft? How did you enter? Go ahead.
But he that enters in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter opens, and the sheep hear his voice. And he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out.
Right. And when you understand how sheep operate, sheep don't have great sight, but they have great hearing. So they respond to the voices that they know. He says, my sheep hear my voice. If you ever go on a farm and you encounter sheep, you can talk all day and them sheep gonna stay right over there. Let the person who deal with them sheep come out and start talking, and you're gonna see 40 sheep come to exactly that one point. Why? Because that's the voice they know. Yahweh has likened his word unto his voice. Do you hear his voice? But when other things are merged in, it is meant to alter your ability to hear. Because now the other voices, see, once you start hearing so many voices at the same time, it's hard to discern which voice is speaking. Okay, go ahead.
And when he puts forth his own sheep, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow.
A stranger will they not follow. So when you hear the doctrine, the voice is different, this is when to pause. Go ahead.
But will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Yahshua unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them. Then said Yahshua unto them again, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out, and find pasture. The thief, comes not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I'm come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. I'm the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep.
The good shepherd will allow all changes necessary to protect and lead the sheep. The hireling don't operate that way when it comes down to the sheep. Go ahead.
But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not.
They're not his sheep. So he don't have the kind of dedication to put his life in danger for them. Go ahead.
See the wolf coming, and leads the sheep, and flees, and the wolf catches them, and scatters the sheep.
Right. Hey, we done seen these places where people don't know that they are hirelings. A hireling is hired to do a job. You watch these places where the business get robbed, and 9 times out of 10, it's one of us trying to fight the person. Don't take this money. Hey, look, I'm a hireling. I was hired to work at Bank of America. Damn it, my last name ain't America. I don't own this. I'm not fighting them for this money. They said, who got the money? The one with the gun. That's who got the money. I'm not fighting him for that. That's not mine. But see, when it's yours, the fight is different. See, somebody come with a gun and they said, hey, give me a little June bug. Hey, bro, you're going to have to use that. No, you don't understand. I see, that's mine. See, that's my little June bug right there. Oh, all you did was flash the weapon? Ah, brother, you should have let off 2 when you pulled it out. You should have already let off 2, bro. You think we about to negotiate for this for mine? Oh, no, I'm about to die up in here. You understand what I'm saying to you? No, this mine. No, it's different here. No, you got the right one today. See, it's different when it's yours. Okay, go ahead.
The hireling flees because he's an hireling and cares not for the sheep. I'm the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and I'm known of mine. As the Father knows me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold.
Other sheep I have. And this is the thing that we have to understand. That Yahweh has other folds. Now, how he has those folds set up, why they are separated, we don't know that. You are not in that pay grade. Go ahead.
Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd.
Now, when he gathers them, there shall be one fold. One of the things that we don't really see as a protection of why the Hebrew Israelites have not gotten destroyed is because there are small movements. If they are allowed to get one teacher who can get 50,000 people, they will just infiltrate that group and destroy it, just like they did every other group. The same that they did to Islam. They will infiltrate that and break it down. The small movements are protection. They won't gather together until Yahshua says. He says other foes. Why he didn't have all the foes together? And show his greatness. Why he didn't have them all together right up under him? Why he don't have 50,000 people? We talking about a man that can do things on the earth that nobody else has ever done. Why he ain't got 50,000 standing in front of him? He said, I got other foes. Why do you have other foes? Look at what happened to this one. It came in here and tried to destroy it. What happened if I put all y'all together? You have to let Yahweh do what he do. It don't mean you understand it. You have to let him operate the way he's going to operate. He said, I have other foes. Eventually, I will bring them together and there will be one fold. Okay. But that has to happen on his time. Let's go to Judges chapter 12. Judges chapter 12, and let's read verses 1 through 6.
And the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together, and went northward, and said unto Jephthah, Wherefore pass you over to fight against the children of Ammon? And did not call us to go with you. We shall burn your house upon you with fire. And Jephthah said unto them, I and my people were at great strife with the children of Ammon, and when I called you, you delivered me not out of their hands. And when I saw that you delivered me not, I put my life in mine hands, and passed over against the children of Ammon, and Yahweh delivered them into my hand. Wherefore then are you come up unto me this day, to fight against me? Then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead, and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Gilead smote Ephraim, because they said, You Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites, and among the Manassites. And the Gileadites took the passages of Jordan before the Ephraimites. And it was so, that when those Ephraimites which were escaped said, Let me go over, that the men of Gilead said unto them, Are you an Ephraimite? If he said, No, then said they unto him.
Now, because they said these people are different people from a different place, that their dialect was different. And they could tell where they were from based on their dialect. So a lot of things are given to us as dialect, and it's not a situation of dialect. Let's explain a situation of dialect. Keep reading.
Then said they unto him, Say now Shibboleth.
Uh-huh.
And he said Sibboleth, for he could not frame to pronounce it right.
Right. They're saying the same word, though. So a lot of times people will use a different word and then tell you that it is dialect. No, that's not dialect. Dialect is how you say the same word differently.
Yes, sir.
He didn't ask them to say another word. He asked them to say the same word. And he then is able to separate them based on how they pronounce the same word, not a different word. The word doesn't change. How they pronounce the word changes. Keep reading.
Then they took him and slew him at the passage of Jordan. And there fell at that time of the Ephraimites 42,000.
All right. I want you to read the note that you will find in a study Bible concerning Shibboleth. You don't have that under there? All right, I'll go. Shibboleth, which signifies a stream or flood. And that's mentioned Psalm 69, verses 2 and 15, Isaiah 27 and 12. In Hebrew, Shibboleth also means an ear of corn. So it signifies stream of flood or an ear of corn. Sibboleth signifies a burden. So when he says say shibboleth, they said sibboleth. He said say one thing, that because they can't pronounce it, they're saying another word. So their dialect is making them deal with something else because that's not a sound that they form. So shibboleth signifies a burden, and a heavy burden they were obliged to bear who could not pronounce this test letter. It is well known that several nations cannot pronounce certain letters. The sound of TH cannot be pronounced by the Persians, no more than by some of the continental neighbors, though it is a common sound among the Arabians. To this day, many of the German Jews cannot articulate TH, for which they substitute SS. Thus, for Bath, a house, they say Bath. That is dialect. When the same word is pronounced differently. When somebody offers a different word, that's not a situation of dialect. All right. Let's go to Acts chapter 13. You look like you had something you wanted to deal with.
We kind of went through that this morning with, the opening reading for the choir, just with the name Habakkuk. Some of us will say Habakkuk. Completely taking out some of those K's. But it's the same. It's the
same word, But you can't then turn around and just say Johnny and say you said the same thing. No, the hell you didn't. How Habakkuk and Johnny are the same damn word? Well, see, this is what they say over on this side. I don't give a damn what they say on this side. That ain't his name. See, you ask people, translate Saddam Hussein for me. Names don't translate. But they're quick to tell you that Jesus is the Hebrew, the English version of Yahshua. When the hell a name get another version? Okay. Acts chapter 13, and let's read verses 1 through 3.
Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Menahem, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul. As they ministered to the Adonai and fasted, the Holy Spirit said, Separate me, Barnabas and Saul, for the work whereunto I have called them.
Now, the Holy Spirit said, separate Barnabas and Saul for the work which I have called them to do. Wait a minute. So the Holy Spirit told somebody else. The Holy Spirit didn't tell them. Separate them for the work that I have called for them to do. So now the group collectively knows these brothers have been separated. It's time to let them go do the work. It's time for them. He says, I have called them. Separate them. Now, from the moment that they are given the separation, if they don't separate, they're going to have holy hell. Because now their anointing now is not in that place. Their anointing is for the thing that they have been separated for. Keep reading.
And when they had fasted and prayed and laid their hands on them, they sent them away.
So they didn't just send them away to go and do work. Hands was laid onto them. They were prayed upon. All right, back up. Before the Levites were allowed, they had to shave all their hair. All of Israel laid their hands on them. They are now sanctified for the work. All right, now these brothers are getting ready to go and do the work. They understood what was happening. The group laid their hands on them, prayed for them. They are now sanctified to go and do the work. Okay. Let's go to Acts chapter 15. You know, anybody can say, you know, I spoke to the Lord last night. But the way this works is Yahweh talked to somebody else. See, I didn't say that I was going to be a teacher. My elder did. Yahweh ain't tell me jack. Ain't no angel came and talk to me. I wanted to tell the man, why you keep leaving me down here by myself? I was there because you was there. I don't want to hear no damn parables. So the man kept playing these games, talking about, no, you are me. No, I ain't. I don't know what you know. And I got stuck on this TV by myself. Okay. Okay. When Saul was called, did he tell Saul or he told somebody else? Just going according to what is written. Acts chapter 15 and verse 36.
And some days after, Saul said unto Barnabas, let us go again and visit our brethren in every city where we have preached the word of the Adonai, and see how they do.
Now, they are doing this work. They have been separated for this work. They are doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah, Yahshua clearly said, I have other foes. So we have to understand that there are going to be other workers authorized to do this. Any place that says that everybody, only the people that come through their organization are the ones that's going to get saved, them people worship the devil. Go ahead, keep reading.
And Barnabas determined to take with him Johanan, whose surname was Mark. But Saul thought not good to take him with them, who departed from them from Pamphylia, and went not with them to the work.
Now, these brothers have been separated to do the work, but now they have a disagreement about who's supposed to come with them. And now, this is not a disagreement over doctrine. See, doctrine would have actually been an easier disagreement. This was a disagreement about the effort. It says, hey, when we were supposed to go here, he didn't come. Go ahead.
And the contention was so sharp between them that they departed asunder one from the other. And so Barnabas took Mark and sailed on to Cyprus. And Saul chose Silas and departed, being recommended by the brethren, unto the grace of Elohim. And he went through Syria and Cilicia, confirming the churches.
Now, understand something. Saul and Barnabas are now separated, but not because of any issue between the two of them. But at the end of the day, will this actually become more prosperous for Yahweh? So now, one of these brothers first worked together for a while. But then because of a situation, now they're separate. But now this brother has a help, and this brother has a help, and now two places can now get this level of word at the same time. Sometimes you understand what Yahweh's doing, sometimes you don't. All right, let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Galatians chapter 4. And in that disagreement, there's absolutely nothing said about either one of them losing their salvation. But I tell you what, it did cause a separation, though. Sometimes we focus more on the reason than more of what the eventual situation is. The ultimate situation was a separation, and now the word gets taught in multiple places. Not that what was the schism that caused them to separate. See, when Joshua was going back and forth with Moshe, he had a problem. He said, hey, man, Eldad and me, Dad, do prophesy. He said, calm down, brother. Calm down. I would that all Yahweh's people were prophets. Hey, but Yahshua was ready. Hey, man, nah, bro. Hey, you the only one come up to this mountain. You the only one authorized up in here. Let's go there and show El Dad and me Dad where to be about. Come out. I'll go down there, put that on everything, bro. Let me go. Calm down, young man. Let them do what they do. We don't know how Yahweh has set what he has set. Don't worry about it. He that takes score will tell us what the score is. Let that do what it do. Go ahead, bro.
Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differs nothing from a servant, though he be the master of all, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. Even so we, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world. But when the fullness of the time was come, Elohim sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law.
But when the fullness of the time was come, see, this is that situation where, all right, you have gone through all of the lessons, you have gone through all of the turmoil, all the trials and tribulations. Now it is time. Now you are no longer a child, you ready to go. Just understand what all that means. Don't get out there and then get to the point. Well, no, I don't think I can handle this. No. Well, no. Once we start this, we're gonna have to ride it. See, you have those people that say, "Man, I think riding a motorcycle is cool, brother. You would let me ride your motorcycle?" Hey, brother, let me explain something to you now. Now, sitting on that motorcycle is one thing. The first time you hit that throttle. It's all real after that. Ain't no more changing in the middle. Once that motorcycle start moving, there ain't no decision.
You know what? I don't think I want to do this.
No. Once it start moving, you have made a commitment in life. Ain't no stopping it. Matter of fact, the slower you go, the more you got to hold up the bike. The faster the bike go, it keeps itself up. So the moment you get scared and let out the gas, we are now retrieving you out of said bushes. Go ahead, bro.
To redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. And because you are sons, Elohim has sent forth the Spirit of his Son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. Wherefore you are no more a servant, but a son. And if a son, then an heir of Elohim through Yahshua.
All right, but you have to make sure that you are ready to receive your inheritance. You have to make sure that you have learned all the things about that inheritance, so you don't then get that inheritance and then go out in them streets and squander your inheritance. So if you've gone through those lessons, you've gone through all of those things, then you're no more under the part of a tutor. Then it's time for you to go and deal with that business, but you damn well better make sure that you deal with that business accordingly, because if you waste his inheritance, you're going to answer for that. Let us understand, this is the time that we have to consider all the things that Yahshua encountered. I'm talking great suffering. I'm talking great separation. And none of it was for anything that he had done wrong. It was for us. But if we're going to be able to take part in this, we can't take part in this, but we not putting ourselves where we are available to go through anything. Where as soon as we get to any kind of suffering, it's over. But the entire foundation was built in that. Let us consider those things as we get closer and closer to these holy days, because we want to be seen, we want to be heard of our Elohim when we pray. So make sure that we are conditioning our hearts the closer that we get to these days. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.